Still dancing.
Good afternoon. And it's still morning for Miss Melanie over here. She's 2 hours behind us. So thank you so much for joining us. I have been following you for a long time. I probably met you at R4 maybe a couple years ago. Were you ever a speaker for the video summit, like the first year?
Yeah,
maybe?
the very first one. Yeah, the very first one.
Okay, so I was right. I was like, that feels like it wasn't that long ago. And then it feels like it was forever ago. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you were like the first one before they got the big stage and all that. So I remember you from then. Is that like 5 years ago now?
I think it was 2017.
Or
Gosh, that seems crazy, but what a great idea. And then it kind of blew up from there and they have a huge stage and it's my favorite thing to do it for R4. So I'm really bummed. Obviously, that won't be happening this year, but that's a bum. So tell us who you are and let's get started.
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Melanie Gallia. I have been a realtor since 2007, and my video journey started in 2013 at R4 because I went to a session with Michael Thorne and Dave Fauquier. And that was sort of the birth of mobile agent TV. And for those of you that have been Remax agents for a while, and so I left that session, and the session was called Putting Wow into Your Listing Presentation. And I went out, I'm going paperless, and I'm doing video. And I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. And that's 2013. So here I am, 2021, and Michael didn't know it, but he created a monster. And the one thing that
he has a tendency to do that for sure.
Right? Yeah. So one thing I promised him, because he's so helpful at the start of my video career, is that I promised I would always pay it forward. Because I promised to do that. So here's where we are.
Yeah,
I love shirt. I got distracted with the bling bling.
Did you see my shirt? Isn't this awesome? This is an R4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have Bling Friday at our office. So we have like our logo or we have the balloon. So all of our admin staff, we all have our bling. So it's Bling Friday every Friday at our offices.
Okay, Anna, you have the shoes. I want the shoes. Okay, we can scroll.
Yes, I don't think
Jeremy Blanton's on. Hello. Okay, well, let's get into this because I have 47 hot slides about doing live open houses. And do you guys have a little preamble you want to talk about first about this, or what do you want to do here?
No, I'm just going to let you do your thing. So if you want me to share your screen now?
I think I share. Oh, yeah. If you can share my screen now, that would be great.
Yeah, it's down there. So I can just click there. And now I see it. So if you hit present, you're good to go.
Am I in the presenters mode now?
You sure are. You're good to go.
We can see your screen.
Awesome. All right. So the title of this session is a little bit different, but really essentially it's doing 2 live open house videos that can become 20 pieces of content. And I am very much about working smarter, not harder. So we're going to talk about that. And my very first slide is working smarter, not harder. So I'm probably going to get ahead of myself. I'm a little excited to be here. So, but here's the thing. We have such a great opportunity with video to work smarter. And I'm going to give you some ideas. And what I want you to think about is, oh, I can't do that. Please don't do that. Leave your mind open. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do that's bigger and better? Okay. Or different or unique. Okay. So allow yourself to be creative. So the next slide here, you either have time or money. And I'm going to show you what to do with either situation, because you could be a newer agent and you have lots of time, but you don't have any money. Or you could be an agent that's been an agent for a really long time and you don't have any time, but you got the money. So I'm going to show you what you're going to be able to do in those 2 situations. Here's the one thing that if you haven't figured this out yet, as a real estate agent, you are a marketer first. That is it has become our #1 job. for our sellers and for ourselves, most essentially. But we're going to lean more into having this sellers conversation right now because that's what live open houses are all about. So to give you context for where I live, that little dot up there is about a 12-hour drive north of Montana. So if you can just kind of situate where I live. So one of the reasons I started doing open houses or live open houses, because I hate doing open houses. And in my market, I'd sit there, I'd rush home from golf, get over to the open house, and no one would show up. And I was just like, this is not a good use of my time, right? So I could advertise the open house, do the open house, and then it was done. Nothing would come of it. And I was just like, there has to be a better way to do things. So quite frankly, I started doing live open houses because I hate open houses. So I started that. I know, like, who can relate, right? Like, just shoot me. And listen, I love people, I really do, but I also like making the best use of my time and the best use of my clients' time as well. So that's when I started on Facebook, and I started out with a live open house split. So I did all my listings at the same, in 1 week. I did one a day to sort of get it started and get it rolling. No one else was doing it. And the one thing is that no one else has been doing it consistently since 2017. So I was getting my clients in front of more eyes. Like, this is what blew my mind away, was that, now I'm gonna tell you up front, the algorithm has changed dramatically since I started doing these, okay? Now, you can also throw some ad money at this stuff, which is something that we would have done with this as well, but we were getting in front of 2,200 people instead of 1 or 2 people. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, what would you rather have, 1 or 2 people, or would you rather get in front of way more eyeballs? So I just felt, and for myself in my career, I've never had one person walk into an open house and say, I'm gonna buy it. I'm just not. Like, and if you look at the statistics of, public open houses, I just found it's just a waste of my time. So I got really excited about this. So then in 2018, Instagram started doing stories, and you could start doing lives in there. And that's when I started doing live open houses in Instagram as well. I was already there. So that's where the second video comes from. So I'm doing a horizontal video on Facebook and a vertical video on Instagram. Okay, so one of the cool things, one of the ways I really, really got hooked with Instagram, and I really believe that Instagram is going to become bigger than Facebook in a lot of markets. It depends on the demographic, but I got most excited when I did a live open house and someone saw it on my Instagram page, and I got my clients into multiple offers on the sale of the home because the client got to see the house in a deeper way, in a more intimate way. It wasn't the speed dating. It was the second date. And that's what the live open houses are for me. So why do you need to be doing live open houses? In other words, I'm an agent. What's in it for me? Well, it's where you guys are laughing. You're laughing. That's the real question. Why is it worth my time? Well, number one, it's where your buyers are. Your buyers are online. The second thing is that you can't do public open. I can't in my market. I don't know about you ladies, but public open houses aren't allowed right now. So this is a great way to get people in. Maybe they're looking at the home for the second time. Maybe they've seen the pictures. Maybe they've seen your floor plans. But this is really much more intimate way to be able to see the home without them actually having to get there. So another thing that it does.
Oh, Melanie.
Yeah.
Another thing. So Jeremy mentioned that you live in a place that's way too cold. And that's actually like a good way of advertising homes in the wintertime. If the seller needs to sell in the wintertime, not a lot of people are actually like venturing out if it's too cold or snowy or whatever. That might be a good idea, no?
Jeremy Blanton, who doesn't even know what snow is. Okay, you guys. We're Canadian, okay? We get outside. The snow doesn't scare us. We know what it's like. Okay, you're so cute. Anyway, but I can appreciate what you say. Like, so, but if you're getting snow in an area like Texas right now, like completely shut down, that's more like a national disaster right now than it is like a good scenario. But if, let's say, you get snow in a place that you normally you're right. It could be a better way. Or we get a super, super cold snap when it's like stupid cold, you know, like Alaska. But I live that far north, right? So that's the thing. If you live in northern Alberta, it's like living in northern Manitoba, like,
You're just used to it.
okay, yeah. I'm thinking of, I want to say Manitoba, and it's like, no, that's not Montana. I'm thinking Montana. I'm getting Montana and Manitoba mixed up. Okay, so you're having buyers say yes to the address before they even arrive, okay? And it is also a way to have safer showings. You know, we'll be able to say, are you sure you really want to see the home? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You froze for a little bit, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So the other thing is that you're never going to miss a showing. So, and here's the other thing. No one else in your marketplace is going to be doing it consistently. And that's something really key. And you owe it to your sellers. Your sellers deserve top-notch marketing. Okay. What do we got next? So with video, you've heard this 100 times, right? People get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you, you know, all of those things. And if you reverse engineer a sale, you know, there's one key that's missing, okay? Because yes, you have to know who the person is to decide you like them. You have to trust them, but there's one piece that people are missing. They have to believe that you can solve their problems. And I trust my dentist, but I'm not going to Dr. Brown if I have heart issues, right? There's a big difference, right? And so this is your opportunity to show that you're the authority in the marketplace, that you're the authority of what, you know, statistics, that you're a marketing authority in your market. Molly, I got this off of Molly Fletcher. She was one of the end speakers at R4 a couple of years ago, and she was so good. She's a female Jerry Maguire sports agent, and I just love what she said in her podcast about that. So where did this idea of getting 20 pieces of content come from? It came from my marketing guru, Gary Vaynerchuk. And a couple of years ago, he put out a slide deck where he talked about, and he explained and he showed people from a one hour presentation, he comes up with 30 pieces of content from that 1 hour document. And I'm like, okay, that's insane. I can't do that, but what can I do? And that's where I really got this idea, was like, again, you know, like, what can I be doing more? How can I get more out of what I'm already doing? And so if that's the question you ask yourself, like, that's definitely a great question that I want you to be asking. Again, this is working smarter, not harder. You're already doing these things. So how can you get better reach out of it and more use? And that's what I'm hoping to ignite ideas in you. So I love the name of our group here, right? It's creative. Okay, can you hear this? Okay.
Here's 150 atoms. There are economies here for 250.
Okay, let's cut in and out a little bit. But this essentially is what it's going to look like, okay? My assistant was so cute. She taped me doing one of my live open houses on, it's either Facebook or Facebook or YouTube, because it's horizontal. And it's, this is using StreamYard on my mobile phone, and this is how it looks. So what do you need to start? Okay, here's what you need. You need a Facebook business page. Yes, business page, okay? You need a YouTube account. And I also recommend an Instagram account. Now, listen, if you're new, pick one, okay? Pick one and start with that and get comfortable with, like, if you're not Instagram, like, I don't want to overwhelm you. Just start with Facebook and do Facebook. If you're doing both, this is what I recommend, okay? Here's the equipment that you need. For the love of God, please, this is the only thing I beg of you to purchase. Please purchase. It's the one thing, okay? So I don't care what brand you get, but you need a motorized stabilizer, okay? So this is not stabilizer, okay? This is
big
not,
difference.
yeah, this is not what you're using, okay? Like,
Well, some phones have the stabilizer already in their system. So if people know how to turn it on, they can turn it on. But it's not the same as having a gimbal, that's for sure.
I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just, for me, it's just bad. It's just bad advice. I just don't find them. Like, here's the thing. I mean, the sound's got to be decent too. Now, I haven't figured out a system. There may be some people out there like Bluetooth and stuff like that, but you're going to be close to it anyway. So you have to use a bigger voice. This is just a couple pieces of advice that I have. So we're talking about that time or money. We're going to go into how to do a Facebook Live first, okay? And into these situations, do I have time or do I have money? What am I going to do and what do I recommend for both situations? Because I did the time way when I had more time, when I didn't have access to StreamYard and StreamYard wasn't a thing. So I know how to do that. And so the testimony or the tutorial that I have on YouTube, we'll talk about that at the end. I go step by step by step by this method here of no money, or sorry, of having time. So if you're using the time method, then you're going to create an event on Facebook, okay? And if you have the money, so StreamYard is $468 American a year. It is the best money that I have spent. Why? Because I am saving time, which in turn for me feels like I'm saving money, okay? So I literally am streaming 3 places at the same time. Does that sound like a good value? Like, it's great value for the adult, like, right? So I am doing, I'd say I do 45 live open houses a year. Like, wow. What is that, $10 or $1 or like, yeah, it's like $1 a live, right? So I'm more than making my money out of that. Whereas in the past, what I had to do is I wasn't doing YouTube live because I don't know if you could at the time. I haven't researched that, but you know, what I would do after is I would download my video and then I would upload it to YouTube later. And then that would be my live open house. But then I couldn't, you need some kind of program like StreamYard in order to be able to go onto realtor.ca. I haven't figured out any other way at this point in time. But the value that I get out of StreamYard, it's just, for me, it's just completely mind-blowing. And I really like having that time back for myself.
So you're saying that you can go live on Realtor?
I'm also live on realtor.ca. So if we go back for a second,
they can do that in the realtor.com, but that'll be pretty cool.
You should, if we can do it in realtor.ca, you have to be able to do it in realtor.com. You probably just don't know that you can. And so This is a change since I did the tutorial video, this piece here 2 years ago, because that wasn't available. But when COVID happened in Canada, and I can't see why Canada would just have it, not the States. So if it hasn't happened in the States yet, I'd be all over NAR and realtor.com to make that change.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, well, and I would think usually the States sometimes get stuff before.
We beat to it. Okay, so a question. Yeah, I guess so. A question that I'm gonna get is how much time do I spend when I do the 2 videos? I'm generally there for about 40 minutes. So I'm there about 10 minutes before I start to make sure that all the lights are on, and that Craig Adams is messaging me. Craig, why are you interrupting my program? It's live. You can't see the video. Can someone help Craig Adams? I can't help him right now. Dude, I'm in the middle of my presentation. Okay. Wednesday. Okay, so where I'm at here is like, so usually I take about 40 minutes to do a live, okay? And so I'm there about 10 minutes before. I do the Facebook at noon, and then I do the Instagram at 12:30. So this is a representation of a calendar, okay? And so the next thing that we're gonna do is that we're gonna create the event on StreamYard. One of the things that I recommend is that you create a thumbnail for the event. And you can do that on Canva. You guys did the same thing in order, like you guys saw the cute graphic that's at the beginning of this video. And that, you guys probably, did you make that, you would have made it somewhere, right? So I use Canva, and I find it really, really user-friendly, and oh my goodness, the power of that program is getting better and better all the time. So, and then of course, I'm gonna ask my clients to share it on social media. Putting the social back into social media is so important. And, you know, we're working together to sell homes with your sellers. Don't be afraid to ask them. So this is how it looks on my Facebook page. You know, and so people want to get a reminder that this is happening, and on this address, they can do that. The crappy thing is that you can't boost this. Facebook really needs to get themselves together, because I think that they're leaving some money on the table. I don't know why. There's a lot of things I don't know why Facebook does what it does, yeah, it drives me a little bit crazy, right? Like that, but you don't have any control. They're not listening. So we just work with what we have, and hopefully they change their mind at some point in time. Okay, so here's the other cool thing. This is on realtor.com. So, or realtor.ca. So can you guys see the video?
Yes.
Okay. So this shows that there's going to be a live stream if someone's on, and someone can add that to their calendar. Like, how cool is that?
Wow, I've never seen that before. Now it makes me want to
So
go
that's,
over and check it out.
so you enter that as you're gonna do a live open house, schedule the open house on your realtor account, and then it pops up there, and then that's how you do it. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So here's the thing. It's like, it still comes up if you search open houses. It still pops up because but it's listed as a virtual open house. So maybe check into your back end. Maybe you can do it and you just don't realize you can. Do you think is there anybody that can check their back end? Like Jeremy, if you're watching, can you check your back end? Yeah, but it's got to be your back end to see how, if you were going to log your open house, is there a way to log your live open house, or virtual, what we call virtual?
Yeah, someone will
Not
have to
on
check
my
that.
Realtor Pro. I'm on realtor.com Pro, and I see where I enter the date for the open house, but there's no link.
What about, is it your back end? Is that how you would book your open house? So our back end is called Pillar 9. Because it's going to be I would
book my open house with my MLS. So I would just enter in the MLS, which would syndicate everybody everywhere else. Basically. Exactly. So but I think Zillow allows it. I know it's the big Z, but I think you can enter a live link for like whatever open house.
You don't have Zillow here, so I'm okay with Zillow not being here. Okay, so that's like an opportunity for some people, like, to see if you have it or not. I just assumed because Canada had it that you had it. So, okay, so now you've done the event. Where can you post it? Where am I going to get those extra pieces of content? Okay, well, let's look at that. And we're just talking about on the Facebook Live right now. Okay, so here are 10 different places that you can post. Now if you're gonna put it on TikTok, you need to do a little bit of editing. The same with Instagram. So if all you wanted to do is just one live and then reuse that video, you can. You just have to use editing programs in order to do it. Okay? So all those places equal 10 posts for one video. Does that seem worth your time?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, for sure.
Right? Okay. This is where I'm not getting the oohs and the ahs from the audience. So let's add a couple more posts and get that number up to 13, because you can put ads on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram afterwards for, so now we're up to 13 posts. Sound good?
Yes, for sure.
Right? Exactly.
And for the record, you are getting the oohs and ahs in the comments. So
okay, good. Okay, awesome. That's awesome to hear. So like I said, this is really working smart. So that's like, even if you just spent 20 minutes in the house and just did this on Facebook, you have 13 posts now. 13 from 20 minutes of your time.
Nice.
I think people like, right? Like, I think that people like that a lot. And so that's sort of mic drop situation. And I'm hoping that this encourages you. Okay, I'm hoping that you can see this. So this is on Facebook.
So, stick the tour here.
No, that was the YouTube countdown. I just did this one yesterday.
Front office, they added a floor.
So it's just a short little thing, right? Just to show off the house just a little bit. And that's using my stabilizer. So now let's talk about Instagram, okay? So Instagram, the time or money situation, I haven't figured out the money situation. There's only time. It's the only way that you can do it at this point in time, okay? So there's no aha with this other than you just kind of need to do it. So here's going to the calendar, what I do when we have an Instagram live. So again, the same day, what we do is that we'll post in the main feeds. So the next thing we'll do is we'll have a countdown in Instagram stories, and people can kind of mark that up also as a reminder to them. And then the day of, we do the live. The really cool thing is that it's become much easier than when I did the tutorial about downloading that video right after you've done it, and then it becomes an Instagram TV post. So again, more content out of like 15 minutes of a video. And then the next day, you can do a swipe up into your stories with the link to your Instagram TV. Most of us don't have 10,000 followers. So one of the other things that I've started doing, and I'll show a little video on it, is using Linktree. Are you guys using Linktree in your bio?
I love Linktree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right? It's like this secret weapon. Okay. We just started using it like a month ago, so my mind is like, new secret weapon. So if you guys knew and you didn't tell me.
I love Linktree. Always mentioning it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what Linktree is, just so people understand what we're oohing and ahhing about. All right, we'll get to the Linktree in a moment. So here's what else you can do with that post. It can become an Instagram story live. It's going to be your Instagram story live. Then it's going to go into, when you make it in Instagram TV, it also goes into your main feed. Then you can do the link in bio. You can also do swipe up with Instagram stories. Let's say you do a price reduction later. There's another one. So maybe this should be 8. You do swipe up. You can also make this a reel. Now you're going to need to do some editing in order to make it a reel. Reel is competing with TikTok. Reels are only up to 30 seconds at this point in time. I almost like reels better than stories because reels stay and you can put them up into your stories. So I kind of like reels a little bit better. And Instagram is pushing reels because they want to compete with TikTok. Okay. Yes. And then the last thing that you can do after is put an ad on it. So there's 7 posts. So 7 plus 13 is 20 posts.
That's awesome.
Right. And I'm just scratching the surface on this stuff, ladies. Like there's so much more that you can do with it. So here's Linktree, okay? So if you're gonna press the link, my link in bio, it's gonna take you to this. And so what I've started doing, and we're gonna talk at the end about what all those different links are. So I've got one on my website, a mortgage calculator. I do video series with a mortgage broker called Let's Talk Lending. And then I've got links to virtual tours. And I'm gonna show you at the end because that's my next piece of secret weapon. Of how I use all of these videos and all the other marketing that I do. Okay.
Here's one of the features that I am.
Oh, here's an Instagram live. I did this yesterday.
And like, there's a personality to this stone. It's absolutely stunning.
Okay, this stunning.
Is that one of your listings?
Yeah, that's one of my listings. Yeah, my assistant videotaped me videotaping this yesterday. So,
do you ever do videos of homes that are not your listings?
No, I don't need to. That's probably one question that I have. If I was a newer agent, I would ask. If I didn't have my own, I would ask them for sure. But they got to make sure that they market the home properly. That's the other thing, right? So if that's the tough thing. And then once I go through my listings, I just recycle them until I get a new one to work on. It's generally how I've been doing it. So But that's up to you how you want to do it and how you want to get started, right?
That's awesome.
So let's get into the advice part of things. And I hear this so often because I really want to get people started and get people going and not be intimidated by it. So here's my first piece of advice on this is like, I hate myself on video. Is that people don't care what you look like. They don't care what you look like. Listen, I have my days too. Like I've gotten to be like, takes us girl ladies a little bit more work to like be on video. I get it. I have those days too. But I also have days where I've thrown on a toque and off I go to go do my live open house, or maybe I finish my golf game and I have a ball cap on and I'm showing off a house. So, you know, you got to do you in your way. And all that I can, you know, like it's the perfectionists that I'm speaking to right now. It's handcuffing you and it's an excuse. And I really want to say this in the most heartfelt way. You don't know what you're missing out on by stopping yourself with all the perfectionism. Like you're leaving money on the table. And I'm going to invite you to stop that and let it go, because people really relate. They really get to know me in these videos, right? Like I'll be out somewhere and I'll meet up with them, and Andrea and I even had this where before COVID, Andrea, my assistant, she would film with me, and so, you know, we'd have lots of fun. People would people would tell us they look forward to our little banter back and forth just because we were just have fun. And if people decide they don't like me because of watching that video, I am so okay with that. But I also have people that like me even better because they do get to know me and they do get to know that I'm a big personality, that I'm passionate, that, you know, I have a backbone, and that might not work for some people. You know, maybe they need someone that's a little bit more low key and a little bit more quiet, and that is okay. That is so okay. So like I said, for those perfectionists, I really want you to let that go. Here's, you know, and so we talked about this, right? It's like, yeah, don't hate yourself. Let's stop that and stop being so self-critical. I don't know what to say. So Karen and I did a video last year talking about video, and he took a poll, and what shocked us both was that people didn't know what to say when they're on video, and this really surprised me. So all I can say is, like, just, you're a realtor. If you don't know how to sell something, you shouldn't be a realtor. So it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of what's going on in the market. It's a little bit of, okay, if I'm going between levels, like if I'm going up the stairs, and the stairs aren't sexy, right? Then I'll flip the camera towards me and I'll talk about some market stats. I'll talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, or I'll talk about the schools, or I'll talk about that great secret restaurant that's down the street, you know, or there's that little secret path to the trail system that's there. So that's
not so secret anymore.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, exactly. So it's like, don't worry about the house. You should be able to sell a house, right? So if you need to have some talking points, I just go at it, and people might say, "Oh, Melanie, but you've been doing it forever. You're a natural." I've worked at it. I've been doing this since 2013. You watch the first few videos, like they're okay, right? Mm. But it's like, you got to do you, right? Like, you're not me. You're not a Jesse Peters. Like, I love Jesse Peters to bits. His style is not my style. Like, not at all, right? But, and I said to this to Jesse's face, right? Like, we joke and we laugh about it, but Jesse's real though too. Jesse is Jesse. Right? And then you have Sue, Pinky Benson. You know, Sue has got a style of her own too. You have to do you and be you, so that you attract people that you really want to work with. And I think when you're being yourself, you're going to be able to do that.
Right. Because then when they meet you, it'll be a disappointment because you weren't yourself when you first introduced yourself to them.
Exactly. That's so well said. So I just got the picture last night, and I wish I had the picture to go with this video here, or not video, but this slide. So I was at the Rehumanize conference, and I think that would have been 2000.
Oh, I just got that book. Started reading it yesterday.
Oh,
By the way.
it's like it's so good. So the conference was like, it blew my mind because it wasn't, oh, should we do video? No, everyone was doing video, and it was like a 2.0 to a 4.0 conversation. It was amazing. And so Angie got on stage, and she's she works for BombBomb. And she talked about how she first struggled working with video. And I used to say this, and I'm going to apologize to anyone I ever said this to and possibly intimidated. It is not just do it. You have to work through it. It takes time. It takes, like, when you go running a marathon, you don't go out of your house the first day and run 20 miles, right? Like you're not doing that. You're running around the street. So just take it one step at a time, right? Just do one thing at a time. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't watch my videos over. I don't. Like, and I don't, because I don't want to allow myself to do that self-critical sort of thing. And I really just, I screw up sometimes. Like, Andrea walked into the screen door one time, like, or like I slip, or the equipment stops working. Like, they're never perfect. I almost like it better when they're not perfect, because then people also get to see my reaction to when something's not perfect. So that's what I have to say about that. So
Jeremy mentioned that you have a bloopers video.
Yeah, there's yeah, especially the first year. I think the funniest video that I have is a sign hitting me in the sound.
The wind blew.
The wind blew the sign, and the sign hit me in the face. Like,
oh my God.
The funniest thing. I'll never forget that as long as I live. So yes, there's crying in video. I'm gonna tell you flat out, right? I wish I had one more slide here that said embrace the suck, because I remember, I wish I could remember who said it, but there's time it sucks. There's time that the equipment doesn't work, or you forgot to plug something in, or the lens is dirty. Like, I've been doing this like a long time, and I still have issues from time to time. So, like, legit, there's crying in video. So here's some handy dandy tips though, okay? When you start your video, make sure you're smiling. Make sure you're smiling. Have a call to action at some point in time. Hey, do you know someone that's looking for a house just like this? Please share this video. Or do you know of someone that's looking to list their home and something like this? Then pick me, because I do more than just market, do more than beyond the lawn sign is my tagline. So sort of how I finish things up. And I tell people every single week, I've been doing this since 2017. And so a little humble brag. So the other thing is talk about the neighborhood. Yes, that's spelled correctly. I'm from Canada. But yeah, take a chance to talk about the neighborhood, because that's going to be stuff that they can't see in a video. And that's what the lives are also for. It's to talk about the stuff that people might not see, or they might miss in the videos, okay, or the write-ups or the photos. These are my two go-to programs. We could not survive. So Canva is all of our marketing. It's all of our back-end design stuff. I do use the paid program. There's a non-paid version, but I use the paid version. It's not very much. I want to say it's like
totally
$250 a year. It's mind-blowing, and Canva's getting even better. You can edit your videos in Canva now. It's absolutely crazy, mind-blowing how valuable that program is. I could not survive without it. Then there's also later.com. So Later is fantastic. I've been on their case about also including LinkedIn. They don't have LinkedIn yet, so I'm on their case about it. But I love Later because this is like a Hootsuite, but I like it better for Instagram and Instagram stories. So it doesn't post the stories, but at least notifies you and has it ready, and it'll put it right into your phone and into your camera when it's time to upload stuff to stories. So these two programs are game changers for me as well. Okay, what do I got here?
So with Later, I guess for some people who don't know, Later, you can schedule your posts ahead of time. And then when the time comes for it to be posted, it would send you a reminder, and then you can go in there and do it manually. But yes, everything will be, you would plan that ahead of time, schedule it so that when the time comes, poof, that's it.
Exactly. Okay, so here's my ultimate secret weapon that I do with all of my marketing. And I'm trying to create a name for this because it's more than just a virtual tour, but it's 5 things, and I use BombBomb to use this, okay? There's also a tutorial for this in BombBomb, but this is a way to get your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th showing on a property, okay? So this started on mute. I'm gonna try doing this. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so this is, no, it just started. It'll play again. So I have my live open house. I have floor plans. I have a link to the 360 tour that shows off a property. And then I put the photos in this one place as well. This is all through BombBomb. I'm hoping this replays so you can see the start of it. This is what I send to buyer's agents. So during when COVID was like going, oh,
crazy. Yeah.
No, that's.
I think I remember you putting out a video about this, like a tutorial.
I did.
How to do this, right?
Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm losing my point. So that whole system that I do, it's 5 pieces, and it's more than just a virtual tour. I don't have a name for it yet. It needs a name because I think it's so smart. But it's a way to get people in the door, right? So you never miss a showing. It's showing the house 5 different ways. And so that's the other place that I use these live open houses as well. So they see the video, they see the live open house. Maybe this is a safer way to have showings. So when COVID was I was starting to use this system before COVID started, because people would have a good showing and it'd be like, hey, because it's been a buyer's market in Fort McMurray for such a long time. We're just coming into a balanced, possibly even a seller's market here. And so wow. This is so great because you can get those showings in. Let's say you've got someone that has kids and they just can't have showings whenever someone wants to go. Well, maybe you use that system so that people are seeing the house 5, 6, 7 different times. I'm actually gonna go back to that screen so that hopefully it'll play over.
What are the 5 things that you have in there? Sorry to interrupt.
So yeah, I'm gonna play this over again. Hopefully it'll play. So you've got the video tour. You've got the write-up. Okay, that's not part of the 5. You've got the live open house. Okay, that's 3. You've got the floor plans. Actually, floor plans is 3. The virtual tour is 4, and that's a link, okay? And then the last thing is the photos. But it's all in one place, right? So it makes it really convenient for someone to see it that's a buyer versus trying to find it on the MLS sometimes. So
that's awesome. That's great.
It's my secret weapon, right? So every single one of the BombBomb emails becomes a URL. It becomes a website. Yeah. So I also use this as a landing page. Like if I'm trying to get leads, then I'll use a landing page to use this system as well. So I'm almost done through my slides, and I really want to get to questions because I think the questions will be good. So ladies, do you want to know the secret to doing all this?
What's the secret?
You want to know the secret?
Tell us.
Like, do you really want to know the secret?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'm not singing this song. Scheduling it. Like legit. The secret is scheduling it. Every single week. It's not if I'm doing a live open house, it's when and where. And we have a system for it. But scheduling it. So maybe you're not ready to do it yet, but schedule time to learn how to do it. Schedule time to buy the equipment. Schedule time to practice it. Schedule time walking through your own house so that you feel comfortable doing it. Schedule time to watch some of my, if you want to watch it on YouTube or on Instagram, schedule time, but find your own way. But this is the secret right here, is scheduling it and making that time unmessable with. So the last little thing here is if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. Please don't follow my Facebook page. I really want to keep that hyper-local. Facebook is a bit of a jerk still, and I want to keep it hyper-local, okay? There are 2 tutorials that I have. One is called the 20 pieces of content. So going deeper and showing you step by step by step. I've given you kind of a high level on this stuff.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal, that presentation that you have is
Oh,
That's what caught my eye, yeah.
Yeah,
great.
sure.
14 minutes. It goes deep. It doesn't have StreamYard only because StreamYard wasn't created at that time, but it still shows you the steps that you can do in order to make it work. The other tutorial that I have is showing you how to use that 5 system that I have there with the tour. Well, the house tour, the walkthrough tour, the 360 tour, which I use floor plans, which buyers freak out for. If you're not getting floor plans and putting them in your photos, you're crazy. And then the photos. So that's what
to add to the floor plan. If you don't have a floor plan, you can just sketch out a drawing and send it to boxbrownie.com, and they will send you a floor plan professional that you can use in there.
Oh, really? What? Can you stop sharing my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Perfect. So Box Brownie does that. Oh, that's interesting.
Box Brownie does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the only reason I'm a little bit hesitant to do that is that we have, like, it's law now here that you have to have proper, we call it our residential measuring system. We have to follow that system. So for me, I hire my photographer has the iGuide system. So it gives me the 362 or the floor plans. And it's.
Yeah, I think Matterport also has that option of creating the floor plan for you. So there's a couple ways out there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Okay, so do we have questions? Are there any questions from the group? I know it's a lot, and I'm hoping that I can inspire people and not scare them off from doing it.
No, Jeremy, I think Jeremy's just basically he's got a face for a radio, so anybody can do this.
Jeremy.
And you did point out that the bloopers make you human and people connect with humans. So that is key right there.
Yeah, as long as you don't have too many F-bombs.
Yeah.
True. That's probably my biggest thing with why I don't do lives other than this stuff.
Hey, I've done pretty good. Like I like to swear, so I've done okay here. So here's the thing: if people have questions and they get started, you message me on Instagram. You know, I'm more than happy to get back to you. It's getting started. The hardest part is getting started. So, like I keep saying, that if I can encourage people to, schedule it.
That is so true too.
I know when I first got started, I had a big banner in my office that was progress, not perfection. And I had to repeat that over and over and over because I knew the only way I was going to get better is if I actually clicked that red button and just started. So, I mean, and I know I've said that before, is I had like a private test group that only I was a member of. And that's where I did my first several lives just to get comfortable with the process itself. But it was all about just progress. Stop thinking about being perfect. And I don't rewatch myself. I can't stand the voice. I just can't stand any of it. I can't do it. I'll never do video again. So I don't watch anything. I should.
I heard,
because that's how you can improve. But I'm still just not there.
I heard a really good quote too, that practice makes progress. So practice does not need to be perfect, but definitely, progress.
No, I like that. That one's a good one too.
You slowly get better and better. Just, riding a bike, walking,
right.
We stumbled when we were kids. Now we can walk and run and all that other stuff. But yeah.
It's just that repetitive. You get more comfortable and you learn tricks and different
learning
tools.
A language. I mean,
right.
English is not my first language. I practiced and I got better.
So do you have all your videos go on YouTube, Melanie? So all of those. Do you take them off when they sell, or do you leave them there?
We don't have to. I just mark it as sold.
Okay.
If someone made a request that had moved into the house and said that they wanted me to, then I don't delete it. I just make it private so I don't lose my views. So that's
right. I think I just go and I changed the title to be sold, and I put it in a sold whatever playlist.
Oh, that's interesting. That'd be an interesting way to do it too.
So there's a question: what is the optimal length for a Facebook Live open house video?
That's a great question. I didn't think of that one. Some are going to be longer than others, right? Generally, I'm generally under 10 minutes, unless there's like a lot to talk about in the house. Like if the house is a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot house, then I'm going to be there a little bit longer. It's a 500 square foot condo. I'm lucky if I'm there 5 minutes, right? Like, so it just like legit, right? Like, so I deal with a lot of bank foreclosures. So there's some of those that I am not doing a video tour for. I'm only doing a live open house just because I'm going to save that money on doing that if it's a, you know, a less expensive property. So that's sort of a way that I get away with. It's still marketing, it's still doing video, and it's still doing a heck of a lot more than any other agents are doing in my market. So, and that's the thing, right? It's like sellers deserve it. And it's not always going to be a seller's market. That's the thing you have to get yourself prepared for. You know, we're finally coming out of a buyer's, like a 5-6 year buyer's market. It's been hard. So I'm kind of enjoying this change into things selling a little bit faster. Have I started doing any live? So I'm doing
live. But when you use the StreamYard, you're using that to go to YouTube Live as well, right?
I am. Yeah. So I'm going to, Jeremy, I'm legit live, streaming live on all those 3 platforms. So Facebook, YouTube, and Facebook, YouTube. No, the MLS, realtor.ca. So those 3 things. Now the thing is, if you're in other groups, you know, depending on the program that you have with StreamYard, you could be streaming to even more places. It's just we just got to make sure that they're appropriate places.
Right, because I think you're allowed 3 places within StreamYard. So I know, like, we have ours in the different groups, and
I think more than that. I think it's more. I could be wrong, but awesome. I think like not everybody
like 3 like at a time. I think I can only do 3, which is recent. It used to only be 2 places. I mean, the sky's the limit other than Instagram of where, like, what groups, pages or not, but I think that I can only pick 3 at one time.
Gotcha. Okay, so Angela's got a question here. How many videos are too many or too less to release in a week or a month? I don't overthink that. I don't have a plan. If I've got listings coming, videos are going out. I generally do 1 live open house a week though, just because of my schedule. But if I had a heavier load of listings that it would take too long to get to, then I would probably do 2 lives in 1 week. I don't ever worry about that. Yeah, I don't.
As long as you're getting them done. And
well, I also try to make sure that there's a good blend of other stuff, right? Like enough. I'm probably not doing enough personal sort of stuff, or it's Melanie. I'm of the mindset I'm going to speak and have a video when I have something to say. If I don't have something to say, I'm not doing it. That's just mine. And so I feel like when I do make a video, I think people listen differently because I don't have so many videos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my advice on that.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. Unless anybody else has any other questions. This was so much great stuff. I mean, I know I'm always sharing your other tutorials, and I think it's such a great idea. I mean, right now we are in a crazy, crazy market, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago where all of this was so relevant. And even for me, it's like being able to have that content on all of your channels to showcase. It's almost like your portfolio of what you do for sellers. So it's almost just as important to do that now to be able to get the listings and all of that. So I think it's just, not everybody does it. So it's those that are brave enough to just get started and figure it out. You'll stand out above the others that don't. And I know there were stats that even showed sellers are more likely to use somebody who does do video versus not. I don't know what the actual stat was, but I mean, it's all great stuff. And I think you break it down into so many fun ways to do it. So I appreciate your sharing with us on our monthly video.
Melanie,
yeah.
Have you noticed that you get more listings because of the videos that you do? Did any, like, have you had sellers come to you and say, like, I saw your video, I saw what a great job you did, I want
Yeah.
you to sell my house and do all that magic stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So that has
So
happened.
what happens generally, if I'm in a competition, I don't lose very often. I don't lose very often because no one else is doing consistently what I'm doing. And thinking outside the box. And especially with COVID, you know, especially with that Bon video email, like the 5 things, no one else is doing that. So, you know, just keeping people safe and like, are you sure you want to see this house? You know, just in case. I've got one set of clients, you know, their health, and they're at a point in time we were in a lockdown, so there's nowhere for them to go. They'd have to sit in their car when it was -30, which is like, let's just say it's -30 across the board there. And
Celsius or Fahrenheit, just to be sure.
it's the same. -32, I think, is the same thing, or -40 is the same thing on both scales.
Okay.
So anyways, it's super, super cold. They're sitting in their car with their pet waiting for the showing to happen. So I would rather have a look, right? Would video, so someone else has a question. Does that answer your question though, Anna?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Would the videos be geared towards branding yourself and getting more listings or attracting buyers? I think that there's a little column A, little column B. There's been situations, I don't always hear about what happens with the buyers. But I have in a couple of cases. And in 2014, when I first started doing video period, not just lives, but video period, I ended up running into the buyer, and the buyer said, we kept coming back to the house because of the video. And that just like that solidified for me. It doesn't matter. The reach is going to get there. I'm not always going to see it. Unfortunately, I can't always gauge it. So why is live so much better than pre-recorded video? Facebook
I think
Live.
it's just like what we're doing right now is when people join your lives, you can actually have conversations. I mean, that's where the power for me live is, because people join in and you're having those conversations versus pre-recorded. It's just you, but people aren't joining. You can't have talks. I know when COVID hit, I was watching all the live open houses, and you know, you're able to ask questions, and you know, the person that's there can actually physically go to a place to show them more details.
Right.
So
I think with what's different about live, there's 2 things. One is that it's not as polished, right? People don't want to see they want to see real. So I think that's why those videos do better. The second thing is that Facebook loves when you do lives, loves it. So with those things, then, you know, I just think it's just better all around, and just take advantage of that reach. And you either have time or money. And if you don't have money, this is a great use of your time.
absolutely. No, that's great. Jeremy's -40. That's really cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
No, that's unfathomable. I think we'll take hurricanes over -40. I don't even understand what that would be.
Hibernating temperatures.
Oh, you wimps.
Oh, this is so awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
for your
Melanie.
knowledge,
Yes.
for all of this. Was fantastic. And I thought it was a perfect way to end our month of videos, because we've had a little bit of every element of video this whole month. So it's been great. And I'm so happy that you were able to be our finale in videos.
Well, it was an honor. Thank you so much. And if anybody ever has any other stuff and wants me to do some more, you know, sort of training, I'm more than happy to do that. You can just reach out to me. I'm not that hard to find. I'm really the only Melanie, and I can't say I'm the only Melanie in all Remax. I can't say that. But anyways, I'm not too hard to find. So thanks for watching. And thanks for having me.
Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you, guys. See you guys next week.
Bye.